Welcome to everyone. So today our topic is to discussing about new features in the 3.8 version. We already know that there are every year new version of the Python is getting released. So last year October there was a new version was released, that is the 3.8. So today we are going to discuss about what are those new features, how we can use it, right? And there is a lot of difference between the 3.7 and 3.8, and we'll get some idea today, right? So the first important one here you can see on my screen, the operator is called the Walrus operator. This Walrus operator is actually introduced in the last year only in the 3.8 version, right? Which is very new operator in the Python. So this operator is actually basically defined with the colon equal to. You can see on my screen, this is nothing but an assignment expression. This we can use some variable name colon equal to some variable value, which is very new feature, which is there in the from the 3.8. It won't work on the other versions, okay, like 3.7, 3.6 Python versions. This is not going to be work. Okay, let's see this how is going to work in the practically. After that we'll explore the other features. If you look at on my screen, there is one picture of this, right? This is called actually walrus. This is an animal. This animal is actually having, you can see that there is a teeth, right? Two teeth is there. Actually this colon equal to is there. This equal to is actually referred to this walrus animal. So that is actually resolution, resemblance of the walrus. That is the reason they are given the name. So what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to use the two versions of the Python in my system. I will show you how it's going to work. I have the two IDLEs. The one is the Python 3.7 and Python 3.8 also. So then you'll get the differences between the both. So let me type IDLE, right? 3.7 now. So you can see my screen, right? 3.7, which I've opened the IDLE. Now I'm going to open the 3.8 also. Let me open it. Yeah. So I have both the versions. So I'm going to show you the differences between the Walrus operator, how is going to be work. Okay. Let's do it. Okay. Okay. So here I'm going to type. So what is the difference between the Walrus operator? How to use in the 3.7? 3.7 there is no Walrus operator, but in 3.8 there is a Walrus operator. The Walrus operator always represents by using the colon equal to. Then we can see that. Okay. For example, I have a print statement. The print is equal to print of some value you want to assign directly into the any one of the function. Okay. For example, a colon equal to 2, right? So this is actually Walrus operator I'm using in the 3.7 version. So let me try to print this. Okay, it is giving an error called the syntax error in the 3.7. Okay, let me try in the 3.8, same expression, print of, okay, a colon equal to, then say 2. Okay, so this is in the 3.8 I am executing, you're getting output. So this is a little difference between the 3.7 and 3.8, because this expression is actually released in the 3.8 version. This is, we call it as the Walrus operator. Let me take another example, then we'll get more clarity. Okay, I have one list. List is something called x. X is equal to, I'm going to take something like 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma and 4 comma 5. Okay, this is the list. So what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to write some if condition, if of and n colon, okay, n colon equal to, I'm finding the length of this. So length of x, and this x is actually now like greater than or equal to or less than or equal to something, we can say that, okay, less than 8. So whatever the list is there, this list length I am finding at, that list of length I am actually assigning to some variable. Okay, this is nothing but length of the string. I am directly assigning in the if statement itself. Okay, we'll see whether it works or not. So let me enter. Okay, then the print statement, and here I'm going to write something like this. So length of the string, right, and length of the string is less than 8. Okay, so less than 8 we can say that, and that is n. So I'm going to print the n value. So for example, now in this case, comma n, just printing n. Okay, so okay, so when you are actually printing the syntax of this end of the file scanning, this is not working because of, you know why, what is the reason, right? Because this statement, when I'm executing the, when I'm going to execute this one works because I missed the double quotes. I given the single quotes. Let me execute the same thing. X is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 and 5, enter, and if, and the same statement I am writing now, if now n colon, and how can I write now, n colon equal to, and the length of the, and of x, you can see here, right, length of the x, and here less than 8. Same statement I am writing it now, the print statement, the print of, and same thing, length of the string. Okay, length of the string is less than 8. Okay, that is something called n. I'm now representing with the double quotes and close this, and in between I'll print the n value. So this time it works. So what I'm doing it here, I have the x is equal to some list. This list is going to be printed with the length. So directly I'm assigning the length of the string here. So now when we enter this, see, we have to calculate these values. Now we have the, this statement is working. There is no any error. If you do same expression here, it will throw an error. So what I'm going to do, right? Same expression I'm going to write here, then we'll get some idea. Okay. So Walrus operator, and we'll get some idea here. Walrus dot py, and we'll go to the same statement. A is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. Okay, and the print of also we can take, or else we can use the if statement also, it works. So for example, in the previous version of the 3.7 or 3.6, it is not possible to assign this value. So I'm taking now n colon, so same thing, equal to length of, so this length I'm going to take here, length we can take length of a, this is actually like we can take something called less than 8, right? So less than 8 we can take. So what is the statement here? Basically we are directly assigning it. This direct assignment is happening here. Generally this direct assigning is not going to happen when you are actually using it, right? So how to achieve these kind of problems, any idea? So right now I'm doing this statement like this. Go to print of, printing of this value, print of now something like x n value is equal to, and we can use like, what is the statement of n is this one. If I'm going to execute this statement, it works, right? So now true is printed. If I don't want to print true, I want to print length, then you can keep like this. Okay, then you remove this value, then it works. So now the n value is 4 is printed. Now I'm using the 3.8. I will change this to the 3.7. I'm trying to execute this. It will say that invalid syntax because the n colon is using that value. So basically that is not going to work. So we need to be like, we need to be very careful, like when you are actually working on this one. Okay, if it is 3.7, this colon equal to is not going to work. If you are using the 3.8 version, it will work. See, right now I'm executing this, it is giving this invalid syntax. Let me change this value, this version to the 3.8. I'm going to execute this works. Okay, that is a little difference between the usage of the Walrus operator. Okay, so expression we can use directly in the if statements, print statements is possible. That's what I'm trying to explain here. So let's go to the another example, another feature of the 3.8. So another feature is positional only parameters. You can see on my screen. it is a new syntax is introduced in the 3.8. If you are specifying any functions, okay, only this is a function related operator, which is actually using in the 3.8 versions. How to use, what is the use of this, which we are going to look into it now. Okay, for example, okay, you will take the one simple function, there will pass the arguments, then we'll get idea. So first I will show you in the 3.8 in the VS Code only, then we can change the value of this. Okay, so go to this and create a new file called positional argument, positional only argument, okay, .py. So let me write here. So very simple one, we'll take some function. This is related to the functions only. So I'm taking one simple function. It's called a positional and only and parameter demo. Okay. So in this, what I will do, right? I will pass the two variables. Like for example, you take something like this. Default variables A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 2. We can define it, right? And I will put something called new syntax, which is there only in the 3.8 version. That's called the slash, forward slash. This is a new syntax is introduced in the 3.8. So how to use this one? So basically I'm going to return here, return A plus B. So we have A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 2, and that's what we are actually printing, right? So let me call this function the positional only param. Then we are calling this function. So we need to pass the parameters. Anyway, A is equal to 1 is there, B is equal to 2 is there. I'm going to execute, right? So I'm going to execute this. If you want to print this statement, just we can also use the print of A plus B. We can use the print of A plus B. This also works. See, A plus B is printed now, right? So if what is going to do with this slash, that's I'm going to tell you. For example, if I want to pass some extra parameters, let me take now. So we'll leave it like this. I'm calling a function second time, which I'm passing something called 100. Okay, let me see this. What is going to happen? See, by default is 100 taking up. For example, if I remove this slash, okay, so what will happen if I go and execute this? Slash 1 or 2 is accepting. That should be fine. So in this case, let me put something like position only 100. Next time I will call this one with the different parameters. Okay, 100 comma 200. Right there. I'm going to execute this. See, we got 100 plus 200, and only 100 plus 200 is calculated now, right? Because last one passing 100 plus 200, we don't see A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2, right? That is not called at all. So what I will do, right? I will remove this slash here, executing back, and we got the 300 itself, right? So if I use the same syntax in what I can say that in the 3.7 version, let me use this 3.7 version, execute this, we'll get the syntax error because slash is not recognized in the 3.7. Okay, so I think this is not clear to you. I will take another example that will give some little idea. Okay, I will take another example that may give little idea. Then we'll see that how is going to work. Okay, so let me take very simple example, and I'm changing this 3.7 to 3.8 version in my VS Code. And let me take another example. So for example, we have something like greetings of, and we'll take the name slash and name comma slash and greeting. Okay, or like wish is equal to, say that something called hello, something like this. Okay, something like this. Hello, good morning. We can type this way. Okay, so I'm going to call this function very simplest way. So this is going to, when I call this function, this should return some data. So I will use the return. There is something called f string in the Python. I'm going to use the f string. In the f string, we can format the values. Okay, so greeting. So we can use this. We can call which value you want to fill here. So I'm going to take the wish. This wish is going to be printed by default when you are actually printing this one. Okay, but before that I have to give the name of the person, comma, and we can specify the name also here. So this is the name which I'm formatting the string values here. The wish is there, name is there. The wish is we are already defaulting it, but this name will pass dynamically. Okay, so this wish we can pass dynamically here. Okay, the f string wish, I think we are done with this. Let's go and call this function. So greetings. So I'm using, okay, we have to use the colon. This greetings, passing the name. So what is the name I will pass? For example, I will pass here Raja. Okay, I'm going to execute this. We'll see how it's going to work. Right. So okay, spelling is the return. Let me take execute. So we got the, did you got the output? No, we'll get the output when you're using the print statement of this entire function, then we'll get the output here. So we got the hello, good morning, Raja. So what is this slash here? It plays very important role. For example, if I'm going to change this one to the different versions, it's not going to be work, right? If I go to 3.7, it will throw the syntax error. Right. So what if I'm going to remove this slash even in the 3.8? That's we are going to say it now. Okay. Let me change it to 3.8. Clear this one, and instead of this, what I'm going to do, right, and remove this slash. Okay. Still we got the output. For example, what these slashes will represent, right? When you want to specify the any, okay, this slash is actually placed between the name and greeting. So this means we are actually like this means is actually positional only arguments. So before the arguments, we call it as the regular arguments that can be placed here. Okay, that's how it works. We can also take the keyword arguments here. Basically, this is the keyword argument, default argument we are mentioning it. Here, this is something called like a required argument. In between, we are giving the positional argument by using the slash. Okay, so let's go to the another feature of the 3.8. So in 3.8, we can also use the equal to in the f strings, which is a newly launched, newly introduced in the 3 version. So f string supports the equal to for the self documenting the expressions. So how it works, okay, that let me take simple example, then you will get some idea here, right? So I'm going to use the f string here, then we'll get some idea. So how to use these f strings? Do you know, like f strings is nothing but the formatting the strings in the Python. We can define this one very easiest way, right? So we'll go to now, we'll define this similar example. I'll get more idea. So I'm creating a new file called f strings, okay, equals. Okay, let me close this. Okay, and we'll see that. For example, I have one string, okay, string is equal to and is equal to something like hello, which is very simple, and I want to format this string, right? I want to format this string. How to format this one? Either you can take the name or you take the different values, it works. So f strings is basically like you use it for like to maintain the like a formatting of the strings. So how to declare this f string? For example, I want to use the print statement of this f string. We can take in the quote, double quotes also. For example, if I give the string, what will happen? You can print this value, right? You can see I got the string. F string is, this is printing. But if I keep this one into the like curl braces, okay, I'll get the value, right? Hello is got. Whatever the value which is assigned, I'll get that one. After that, I can say that here, the name also I can define it here. So name is equal to, and something like Raja, okay? So here, hello, comma, then after that, two curl braces is open, and instead of saying Raja here, I will pass the value of name. So now execute this, hello, comma, Raja is printed, right? It's very simple. But what is the the new feature in the 3.8. If I go back to this, it's saying that f strings are support the equal for self document in the expressions. Okay, we can use the equal to in the directly in the f strings. So let's try this. Okay, so now I'm going to add something like simply we can write this one called age is equal to like for example age is equal to 45. Okay, if I'm going to define like this, so what will happen? Syntax error. We should not define like this. So instead of this, what I will do, right, I will give directly a is equal to 45. If I'm going to print this value, a is equal to 45 is printed, right? So the main agenda of this like equal to you can use for the expressions in the actually like indirectly we can use it in the 3.8 versions. Okay. So any questions guys here before going to talk about the next concept? Any questions? Okay, so moving on to the next topic, like we'll discuss about the adding the new functions to the mathematics. Okay, in the mathematics in 3.10 there are new features. That's one is called the like math dot distributions. It's like it will find the distance between the 2 points, Euclidean distance, and also they added the one more different functions they added like permutations and combinations as well, right? We have something called permutations and combinations. All this can be used here. Let me go and write the same values, same functions, we can define it here. I'm creating the new file called math functions in 3.8. So we need to import the math. Math is already, it is a predefined module in the Python. So we can use it. What we can do right now, there is a new method called math dot like a distance. In the distance we can pass the points. For that I will take the point 1 or point A. I will take the point A equal to, for example in the point A I will take something called 1 comma 3. This is 1 point. Okay, similarly I will take the another point, which point B will take now 4 comma 5. Okay, 2 points I'm taking up. These 2 points if you pass like a point A and point B, so this function is going to take the 2 points like math dot distance. Okay, it will calculate the distance, Euclidean distance. Let me use the print statement of this and we'll see that whether it works or not in the 3.8, because this is a new function in the 3.8. Okay, we got 3.6 and all. If I'm going to change this to the new version, okay, and we'll see that whether it works or not. I'm going to execute this. It will say that in the math module there is no attribute called the distance. Okay, the distance function is available only in the 3.8 versions, which is not available in the older versions of the Python, right? So you have to remember this one. This is only available in the 3.8. So if I change my like version to 3.8, if I execute this, it is calculating this. But always you maintain these 2 points like 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional. For example, if I change this only to 4, 1 comma 3 is there, and the next point B is only 1, it won't work, because we need to maintain the exact the same, the values of the point A and point B, the count is same, then it works. Okay, so this is like one of the feature which is there in the 3.8 versions. That's what we are talking about. Okay, and also there are other 2 functions also there in the math module like permutations and combinations, right? So these are all like the new functions they added. So that's how basically like we are talking about here. And let me go and talk about there is a new methods in the statistics module. What are those new method? What are the new methods in the statistic model? There is something called fmean. Fmean is a fast mean, geometric mean, multi-mode, quantiles, normal distribution. So these methods are very helpful for the people who is working on the data science projects, because this is like they introduced in the statistics module. Statistics module is by default is there in the Python. So let me go and take simple example, stats.py. Okay, So I will import this model, import statistics, and I'm going to write, or else we can take some values of a is equal to and 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5, and we can use the print statement here. Okay, the print statement of and statistics contain the method called fmean, right? Only 3.8 version this fmean is there. Fmean is nothing but like fast mean. This converts the data into data to the floats that compute the arithmetic mean. So this runs faster than the normal mean function. It is always runs the float value, right? So I'm passing some list here, and the list is the a. So I'm going to print this value. I got the three values, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 divided by 5. Then we'll get the mean value. So if I'm going to change this version to the 3.7, if I execute this, it will throw an error, because in 3.7 version, there is no fmean. It is very faster. This is available only in these concepts. Okay. That's what we can actually think about this statistics means. Let me change, we can keep this and change this to the 3.8 version, and we'll execute this. 3 is working, right? It's like that in the statistics, there is the geometric mean is also there. Okay, print off, and we can take the statistics dot geometric mean. So this is also available only in the 3.8 version. So this is a new feature they given up. If I change these values 3.7, it won't work. Okay, is one of the features. So like that, these features are available in this concept. So basically, like that's how it works. How we can take it up the examples. Okay. So one of the most important feature, which is actually in the new library, is launched in the 3.8. That name is called the import lib and examples. This is a new library which is there in the 3.8 versions. Okay, let's talk about this. What is that import lib? So I'm going to take that from import lib. This is available only in the from the 3.8 basically. So import lib metadata, and we can take that import and the version. See why we are going to use this one. This is very important when actually you want to know the information about the external libraries. For example, in your project, you are using the different types of the modules, right? Maybe you downloaded the versions numpy, scipy, request, django, flask, and different modules we are downloading from the like externally, right? If you want to know the like what is the version, what are the supported files, and what is the actually required, all this information we can get to know from this module. This is a very newly introduced model in the 3.8. This will not be available in the 3.7. Okay, that's what we are talking about here. For example, in my system already I have the third party library, so that's called the request. Okay, the request is not comes from the Python software. It is actually there in the outside. We have to use the pip command and install it. Then it will come. So here I want to know about which version it is. You can use request dot. Okay, yeah, request we can pass there. Like for example, the version we already imported here. This version I will take here. I will pass the whichever the library you want to know it, the version of this. The request is a third party, like in the sense external library. When I execute this, we'll get to know the like the version is 2.22. But if I change this version to the 3.7, it's not going to work, because this module itself is not there in the 3.7 versions. Okay, this module is there only in the 3.8. That's what we are working on it. Let me change it back to the 3.8 and execute this code. Okay, still not changed it. Yeah, 3.7 only, right? 3.8 I want to change. Then we'll see. Just now I changed 3.8, it will work. So not only the version, we can also know about the different features here. Go to the print statement, print of the version, and we can pass version we already done. And if you want to know the another file you want to, another third party one you want to take, and you can take. Django is the third party one. If you want to know the version of the Django in my system, it's very simple. We can use the version. Okay, we can use the version of the, okay, Django spelling is wrong. I'm passing the correct spelling now. See this. 2 points. Not only the versions, we can also know about the like what are the dependencies are there. So dependency is nothing but the requires. So you can take the requires. What are the requires like dependency packages we need for the Django? Okay, so that we can use the Django, right? So if I go and execute this, we'll get to know the list of again spelling is wrong. If I'm executing this, this will give the list of packages which is actually using for the Django. So not only Django, for request also we can check. It will give the request information as well, right? So this feature is actually available only in the 3.8. Okay, this feature is available only in the 3.8, not in the other versions. Maybe in the future it will be available, but not in the old versions of the Python. Let me take the print of the last one in this. Here it is the files. Okay, so let me take the files off. These files will give that what are the files using for the Django, right? Django, I'm going to print this value, the files of this. You can see in my output, there are so many files I used it. Okay. If you don't want to print all the files, if you want to print only like a few, we can print two values. But let me put this one inside this, execute this. Only two packages information which is giving up now. Package path. The files will show us like what is the path of this, the libraries installed, and what are the required libraries are there for this software, and what is the version. Basically, this will give you the information about the third-party library which you are using in your projects. Okay, that will give you some idea. So this is how it works. These are all like different features of the Python. So 3.8, if you go to the Google, and if you're so much interested to understand this, just go to type here Python new features in 3.8. You can just type new features in Python 3.8. There are so many are there, so you can explore it. But I given very like very simple examples I are given, and let me type here Python 3.8. Okay, so this is official documentation. You go to this documentation, they are talking about these concepts only. Actually, this was released in the last year only. So yeah, they are talking about new features. Today we discussed about the colon equal to this, nothing but Walrus operator, and the positional arguments also there. It's nothing but a slash. Is a new syntax is introduced. Like that, there are so many concepts they are discussing here. Okay, just go there, then explore this one. You'll get a lot of interesting things. We talked about new module called metadata, right? Something few minutes back I talked about this metadata. Importlib. This is only available in the 3.8, and also they improved a lot. They introduced the so many modules with respect to the 3.8. Okay, this is all about the 3.8. I got one question from our chat box. They're asking me to that, can we use the distance method to apply the 3D also? Yes, we can apply for the 3D also. Let me show you right away. So let me go to the math functions. Right now here 1 comma 3 comma. I can add extra also, like 5 is I'm adding. Let me go and print. I got the output is same. Right? We can use the 3D, 2D also. This works. Like you can increase the number of points. It works this, it is nothing but Euclidean distance between the 2 points. See, these are all about the features we are talking about, right? The one is the assignment operator, that's Walrus operator. The next one is the position only parameter, that's called a slash. And also we have something like equal to in the F strings, and the new functions in the mathematics distance. And the last one is the statistics module. And also we discussed about the new module called importlib, which we can mainly use it for to implement the, to know about what kind of information about the new external libraries in our system. Okay, so this is all about today's session. Do you have any questions, guys, before going to wind up?